Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Joe Knows. I'm here with the boss's boss, Carly Babi, and we're going to talk about some fun legal stuff. So, why don't you say hi and give an introduction?
Hi everyone, I'm Carly Hakim Babi. I'm a criminal defense attorney in Michigan, and we're here to talk about the Clean Slate Act today and the expungement process.
Okay, so why don't you let us know a little bit about that, because I personally don't know anything about either one of those. So, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2021, there was an action by the governor and the legislature to expand the number of offenses that one can clear their record, the Clean Slate Act. Prior to that, if you had one felony and two misdemeanors, that's it. It's the only thing you could do, and you were unable to get anything else off of your record during your lifetime. So the initiative was, people have things on their record for 20, 30, 40 years, and a lot of them are very low-level offenses. And there was no reason for them to be stuck with these on their record because it affects their lives. I mean, financially, employment-wise, even just personally. A lot of people, have their rights taken away from them for all these years. They paid their sentence, they did their time, and they changed. They're different people. So it expanded the number of felonies from 1 to 3 and an unlimited amount of misdemeanors.
Okay.
But there are exclusions.
Okay.
And that's where I come in.
Okay.
There are certain cases where you must go in front of a judge. It will not be automatically taken off of your record.
Okay.
And you have to make your case.
Okay.
How do we do that? We put together a really nice package in front of a judge. I don't just write your name on a piece of paper and turn it in and hope for the best, what I've seen done many, many times.
Okay.
We get your application and we make sure that there's no question about it when the judge reads everything that we have to say, what your family has to say, what your friends have to say, and there's no question about that this person deserves that privilege.
Okay. No, that's good. So like you said, some other attorneys just, do the bare minimum of filling out the application, but obviously you're going a step or two above that to ensure that the chances of the client having the felony being taken off of their record is much higher.
Yes, and that's really important when people are facing an application that involves assaultive crimes and crimes of dishonesty, like embezzlement, home invasion, like an assault and battery, domestic violence. There are, so many people that are forced sometimes into taking guilty pleas, and they don't go to trial, and then they're stuck with these offenses on their record. They will not be automatically taken off. They have to go in front of a judge, and you have to make your case. So just simply putting your name on a piece of paper and turning it in, I mean, they could do that.
Right.
That's a simple process.
Yeah.
But
I think what happens with people, especially like with lawyers, they do it the opposite way. And so what I am hearing from what you're saying is usually the time to get the lawyer is up front when you're facing the charges in the first place.
yes.
And when they don't have that representation, then they get stuck with something that they could have prevented in the first place.
Possible.
And then later on, they end up getting a lawyer at that time when it should have been reversed in the first place and gotten a good lawyer at the beginning. But let's just say hypothetically you did everything that you could. You're still in the situation. Now this is the right time to hire you to be able to take that off.
Exactly. I am primarily a criminal defense attorney, so I handle anything from, low level state crimes, city crimes to federal cases. So I'm involved in the process from the beginning and post conviction to, where people are today and they have these things on their background check and they need to move on with their lives. So, we're an all-inclusive firm.
What uh what is something that is a smaller offense that is considered a felony that sticks with people for a long time, and what are the larger repercussions from that you can foresee where somebody might have done something either however they got the felony where it was not something that crazy necessarily compared to other stuff that they could get a felony for, and what could be so drastic that could happen to them for having that on their record.
It could be a simple matter of writing a bad check. If you, mistakenly write a check and there's, not the funds are not available, especially if it's a large amount or something happened with your bank account that you're not aware of, that's a felon. That results in a felony that is not really a big deal, but you still have to go to court to prove that you're an honest person.
Right. Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. That's something that, you could have made a mistake. And then what happens with people usually is they'll do something like that, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, and then they need representation and they might be unaware that there's affordable, good representation for them. And they decide, well, you know what, I can just go on my own, which is not the right way to handle things, especially when it's like that, right? Like, I mean, for me, I err on the side of being cautious. And so even if it's something small, I would rather have a professional take care of it than doing it on my own.
Absolutely. And, especially for the expungement process, if something goes wrong and for some reason the judge denies your application for something that could have really been avoided, you have to wait 3 years to go back and do it again.
Yeah, see?
So doing it right the first time
Exactly.
is really important.
Yeah, because I always tell people, I'm like, what is the risk versus the reward with everything, right? It's like, okay, like for example, like I'm not the greatest painter, but like if I wanted to save some money, I can paint a room in my house. And if I mess it up, it won't cost me that much to try it on my own. And then the same day I can hire somebody to come and fix it and it will be done. But when you do something like that on your own, now you have to wait 3 years. That's a huge risk that you're taking for not something you shouldn't be doing.
It is, especially when, you're trying to get your life back. You're trying to get maybe a better house or a better job. Time is of the essence, and that's our biggest commodity is time.
Yeah. So what does the process look like? Let's say I had some issues and I come to you. What does it look like from start to finish? What is that process?
So the first thing that we do is look up your official Michigan State Police background check.
Okay.
The first thing I do to make sure what type of eligibility someone has. Some records are automatically going to be expunged.
Okay.
I tell the person up front, your record's going to be automatically expunged. Let's monitor it. If we need to step in at some point, then we'll step in. Fine. But if there's a situation where you always have to go to court, there's no way around it, that's where the focus of my business comes in.
Okay.
And, we gather all the information and I have my clients do homework. It's really
sounds fun.
Yes. And we do that because we like our clients to be in the best position to win. My clients get letters from friends and family. They put their resume together and they put their own statement, exactly what they would tell the judge before we go into court. I want my clients to be prepared and I want them to win.
Okay. Yeah, no, that sounds like a good plan of homework for somebody to do to make sure that they have the best possible outcome, going forward. It's always good to be prepared ahead of time, letting them know what they need beforehand, especially like in certain situations when you're not prepared. You can easily get yourself into more trouble by saying the wrong word, and
Absolutely.
so by getting that all prepared ahead of time, and you can look through it and see what needs to be done and addressed differently, that's really good. What other stuff do you guys do besides the expungements?
Besides expungements, I handle all types of criminal defense cases, and I have my MBA.
Okay.
So I represent a lot of small business startups.
Oh, okay. So what does that entail?
Or filing your organization documents.
Okay.
Putting together, your initial documents such as like an operating agreement, bylaws, employee handbooks, contracts, things of that nature.
Why do we need those documents?
Well, in Michigan, in order to have a legal business in Michigan, you have to have all your ducks in a row. And organizational documents are very important. You have to file taxes. You have to, have all of your matters in place so you can run a legal business in Michigan.
But what if it's just like me and my brother? Why do we need paperwork?
Well, I have found that in many situations, families tend to do that.
Yeah.
I've seen the aftermath, what happens when there's problems, what happens when there's conflicts. And in order to prevent conflicts, that's why you need legal documents. That's why you need paperwork.
Yes.
So there's no question or...
I agree. A lot of people have businesses, they don't have the proper documents in place. They always look on the bright side. Everybody with business always looks at the bright side. They never look at the downside, right? So especially in certain situations where they say, well, I can make more money doing this thing or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but you can also lose money doing that. Or like, what happens if you die? Like, I always think about this part in Dumb and Dumber. It's hilarious to me because I always bring it up. Is like at the very end when Harry got shot and then he gets back up and he was like, oh, you're wearing a bulletproof vest? And he was like, oh yeah. He was like, but what if he would have shot you in the face? Like, you think that you're covered by wearing a bulletproof vest, but you're only looking at that one possibility, but you don't look at the other stuff. So I always think of that scene from Dumb and Dumber when people give me an explanation. Well, why can't I just do this? I'm like, yeah, you're looking at the one aspect. Like, if everything goes well, this works out.
Then you're fine.
Yeah.
Then you're fine.
Yeah. But as soon as you have a hiccup, then what? What happens? So
exactly, and it, especially when it comes to many oral agreements.
Oh yeah.
He said this. Well, he said that.
Yep.
You don't want to take that chance.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to family.
Yep. Yeah. I always tell people, I'm like, there's two things, right? If it's not family, you need to have it in writing because you don't know that person.
Right.
If it is family, everybody should be able to sign the document because it's family.
Right.
So there's no reason to not have it.
No one's hiding anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
It's like, let's just put it down.
Yes.
So there's no
Yes.
disputes later on.
Yeah, because people have bad memories and they can't remember what the details are. And part of it is people are busy. Like, even for me, it's like, I'm busy. I can't remember what I said like 10 minutes ago. Like, I'm doing too many things. And it's just good to put it in writing. Everybody's on the same page. You're good to go.
I'm a big believer of that. I put everything in my calendar. I put everything in writing. Even to my clients, all the important things are sent in an email.
Yeah.
I don't rely on just, me telling them over the phone. I make sure that they have the information at their disposal and available to them.
Yes, I agree. And so I make sure, when you're taking care of somebody, especially as an attorney, they don't know what they need, and they're relying on you to get stuff done. And so being thorough on top of it, making sure that everything is done properly, and to make sure that they remember that you told them that you told them that. I mean, it's hard. So, sometimes people, for whatever reason, don't want to use the services at that second. They're either busy or they have something that they consider that's more important or whatever it is. And it's hard to get them to do everything that they need to be doing. So, but definitely when you create a business, you need to have that. And then you also have to have your estate plan in place also.
Always.
Because what happens if you have a business and God forbid you pass away, then what happens? So a lot of people only think about one side of things.
Absolutely. And, no one, thinks about, well, what if I die tomorrow and what's going to happen is we just don't think about it.
Yes. Well, because the focus is so hard. Okay, like, in your typical day, like for me, for you, whatever, it's like you wake up, you got to make sure the kids are all situated, whatever. Okay, so then after you get that taken care of, then you're like focused on work. It's like,
yes.
How do you get these tasks done? How do you make sure that you're bringing in enough income so that you can support your family? After you get done with that, then you're like done mentally, and then you get back with the kids, and then you have to take care of them. So it's like nobody wants to think about that stuff, but that's why you go to the professionals so that they can bring it up to you to get you thinking about it, get it taken care of, as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Now you did talk about people and like their financial situations, and that's another thing too I wanted to mention is I'm empathetic towards people's life situations.
Okay.
I offer payment plans, I offer financing. I work with people so they can get their life back.
Yeah. No, that's great. Having the payment plan and financing is always a good thing, because I do the same thing for me with my clients. Because a lot of people, especially with estate planning, see, like with criminal law, it's like, okay, you see the results right away. Like,
yes.
I don't have to go to jail. All right, sweet. Right? Like that's an immediate gratification. But for me with estate planning, it's like, here's some paperwork. But they usually say like, okay, well, in 2 or 3 months, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, how about we get your documents done now, and then you can go on a payment plan or whatever, and we'll incorporate whatever you're going to do in 2 or 3 months so that you don't have to wait to get protected.
So true.
Yeah. So like, I want them to be protected now, especially because I had one of my clients pass away when I was working on her documents.
Wow.
I got them done, and I was trying to call her to sign them, and then I heard that she had passed away.
So what do you do in that situation?
Yeah, so that was the first time it had ever happened. So I spoke with her children, who are younger adults, and we came up with a deal. I mean, in that situation, I didn't know what to do. I was like, I completed all of my work, and we just didn't sign it. So I gave them a partial credit to use for my services, so that they could be protected as well, because they were going to do it anyway. So I figured that was a good resolution. I didn't know how to handle that. I wasn't sure what to do in that situation.
Her intentions were already spoken for.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
Yep.
I mean, she was trying to do the right thing.
Right.
And be prepared.
Yep.
And then now it was just up to the family.
Yes.
So
I gave them all of the documents for them to understand what she wanted, so they could carry out her wishes. So yeah, it's hard dealing with that stuff. That's why for me, the way that I am, it's like, because of that, especially because of that, now I'm like, can we just do it today? Like, let's just get it done.
Right. Just do it, get it done.
Yes.
Especially if you have kids. I mean, you don't want your kids to be dealing with this.
Right. Oh, definitely.
You just don't. Especially if you have a business.
Yes.
Multiple properties. I
Yep.
mean, there's a lot involved that people don't realize.
Right.
What happens when somebody passes away.
Yep. Yeah, the business, property, children, those are the main things. It's hard like sometimes people are single, they might not have kids, they might not have a property. I'm like, you don't really need much. I'm not gonna like force you to do anything at this
Right.
point. But, you know, if once you get married, that's a good starting point. Once you have a baby, that's definitely a good starting point.
Yes.
Once you have a house or a business, those are good starting points to do that stuff.
Right. I mean, I have handled not as much as, but I've handled some probate matters in the past, and I've seen situations where, you know, let's just say a sibling passes intestate, that means without a will, and then there's multiple siblings, and they're left to figure it all out.
Yep. Yeah.
It happens all the time.
And it's very difficult. Like, people don't understand. The process is already not fun. And doing it when you're grieving somebody's death,
Even
it's
worse.
it's the last thing that you want to be dealing with at that time.
Yes, I would
So,
agree.
just letting you know, you do not want to deal with that. So, okay, so we're talking about like the family aspect. So how does it feel now with you guys with having your family? Are you going for a second one?
Eventually, we our little daughter Charlotte, we of course want to give her, a sister or brother.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
But eventually, she's only, she's not even 2 yet, so we're having fun with her. We're enjoying her.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, my youngest is 3.5 now, so he's getting out of that stage, but he's always fun, and the kids are a good break away from
Real
life.
From you.
Yes.
They bring you, centered. They center you a little more, I think.
Yes,
And
yes,
we're able to, get away from, dealing with the busy hustle and bustle day to day, and when you're just having fun with them, it's priceless.
yeah, no, exactly. And so what do you guys like to do for fun at home, or just in general?
Well, we actually signed her up for this is not an endorsement by any means, but we signed her up for this gym. It's called
Okay.
Kid Strong. It is a franchise,
Okay.
but I think especially for young kids, it's like CrossFit for babies.
Okay.
And she loves it. I mean, and we've built like a community there, and the things that they have them do, like she was hanging from a rope, and she's 20 months old. I mean,
Yeah.
it gives them confidence, like leadership skills. And the one phrase that we love from that ninja school, if you want to call it, like, I am brave, I am strong, I can do this. I
Okay.
think that bodes well with everything in life.
Yeah, I agree.
It especially in something like expungement. People are intimidated. You have to sometimes have to go back in front of the judge that sentenced you. And if you don't have someone in your corner cheering you on, rooting for you, speaking about you like you're the best person on earth, it's really intimidating.
It is. I agree with that. Everything that is new or different that you don't have experience in is intimidating, especially when you have such you know it's a very important thing in your life, and there's so much at stake that is riding on it that it makes you even more nervous to be in that
Yes.
situation. And everything is about confidence.
It
So
is.
if you have confidence, that's very helpful.
And sometimes people need help gaining confidence. It's not
Yes.
easy for everybody.
Right.
If you don't have a support system, it's really hard to just gain confidence on your own. People aren't taught how to do that.
Right. Oh yeah. Um, I agree. Putting people in position to succeed from when they're younger and giving them the encouragement helps them gain the confidence or know how to build the confidence on their own later on in life.
Absolutely.
Um,
I agree with that.
Because I remember when I was in elementary school, I had on both sides actually. Like I had a few teachers that would push in one direction, saying like you can do it, make it happen, whatever, stuff like that. And then I had a couple of teachers that were like, I'm not going to recommend you for, whatever honors class or whatever it is. I'm like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. So,
And and that's a great personality to have.
yeah.
When someone tells you can't do it, I'm the first person to say, well, watch me.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
And I take that approach with my clients.
Yeah.
I have had older attorneys tell me, well, you're not going to be able to do that, or, that's not going to happen. I don't know what they were trying to do, but that only made me work harder and try harder and fight harder for my clients.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same way. If somebody tells me I can't do something, I'm like, I'm definitely doing it now.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. So do you guys like to go out to eat?
We love going out to eat, but my husband, Randy, he's my partner in law and in love and life and
Yeah.
everything. He cooks a mean meal. I mean,
know.
My dad's a chef.
Yep.
So I was very lucky, and I married Randy because he cooked.
Well, they say that you, as a daughter, look for somebody that's like your dad. So
All the time, the best dad in the world.
there you go. No, definitely. That's why I brought it up, because I know the background behind it. So, I know you guys like to prepare food professionally at home.
It's just because we love eating it.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because why else would you do it, right?
Exactly. The aftermath, the cleaning and all that stuff. I just do it, but it's that first bite and that last bite.
Yeah.
That's what makes it.
Yes. Yeah. So it's funny. Did Randy tell you how we met?
Why don't you tell me? Because I kind of forgot.
He posted online somewhere I think on Facebook or some other group. He was asking for people to go to volunteer for Constitution Day at the court.
Oh yeah.
This was a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, before COVID. Maybe like 2019, so like maybe 4 years ago.
Okay.
And so I went and volunteered, and then we hung out together for the day, and kind of mentored the kids, and we're helping them out with all that stuff. And then he took me to this restaurant. I think it's Bosco's. Is it Bosco's?
Oh, is it?
It closed down?
Was it the one by our house?
Yes.
Yes.
It closed down.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's so sad. Apparently they still do catering, but they don't open like to the public, and we're really sad about that.
Yeah.
They have the best croissant egg sandwiches.
Yeah. So I know. So I noticed that it closed, and I was like, oh, every time I pass by there, I'm like, oh, Randy.
Yeah.
But
I do remember that, and it's so nice, like doing that for I'm gonna call them kids.
Yeah.
They are, but they're in high school. Was it?
No, they were. I think they were in middle
school.
school. Yeah.
So nice.
Yes.
It's such a rewarding experience, and for them to see, this is what I would like to do one day, and actually see it in action and get to talk to you.
Well, that's part of it too. It's funny because I mentor a few people, and you don't know when you're younger what people do and like what they actually do in their profession, right? Like, because I'm a lawyer and I joke around about it. I've only been to court 10 times in my life, and 7 of them were for my own speeding tickets. That's my joke. But like, I don't go to court. I haven't been in court in forever, and I just don't do that. So when you think of a lawyer, you think of this lawyer, right? You don't think of this lawyer. So I always ask and encourage.
This lawyer, too.
But I always ask and encourage people to, like, you think you want to do this thing, why don't you find somebody that actually does it
Yes.
and watch them do their work for a day or two or whatever, if you can do that, because
see if you actually
people don't
like
know.
it.
Yes, exactly.
And and one thing that we learn is when we get older is no one knows what they're doing. We're all winging it. We're all just in this life together. We're all trying to figure it out. There's no master plan.
Right.
Like, you don't just become an adult and just magically know everything. Even going to law school, they didn't teach us how to be lawyers.
Nope.
We had to learn that on our own, on the job.
You get out and you're like, all right, I don't know what to
do I
now.
do now? And
Yeah.
But it's like that in most professions.
It is.
You learn while you're working.
Yes, I agree. And that's why I tell people to start working in their profession as early as possible, so that they can know, like, I have a few cousins, family members that are nurses now. They're nurse practitioners, but they started when they were 15 or 16 being an nursing assistant.
Exactly.
And then they literally went up
Yeah.
and being in the same field. So
I mean, I did it. I was, I've been working since I was 11, maybe. But in law firms, in corporations, since I was 15 years old. And I gained an immense amount of experience and knowledge for over 15 years. So, the past almost 6 years that I've been an attorney, I had a whole, decade worth of experience before I was licensed.
yeah.
So you're right. That's the only way to do things. I encourage, parents with like teenagers, if they want to be a lawyer, send them to us.
Yeah. No, it's good. You know why? Because two things. One is when you're working, like, for example, I was a law clerk at a firm and I didn't get to learn the stuff that the secretary was doing. So, like, I didn't know how to actually file the documents, or
Right.
I didn't know how to pay or how much each thing cost. I was just doing the legal work on it. So getting the experience from the bottom all the way up, now you know how to file. Now you know how to do the simple things that are taken for granted once you become a lawyer, and you are stuck doing the stuff that only you can do because you can't outsource doing the legal work. Like, I can't, there is no other Joe, there is no other Carly. So it's like, you have to focus on those things, but you still need to know how to do them, right? You can't just do the legal work and not be able to file it. You don't know how to file it.
Exactly. You don't know what, there's a missing paper. I mean, that happened to me, when I first started, but you have to have that background, and you, like you said, like working up and, starting at a young age, if this is really what you're interested in, or even if you don't really know, at least look at, someone's day-to-day life,
right,
and see if that's the lifestyle that you want. It's not for everybody.
Oh yeah, I know. That's another thing too, is like a lot of people, they come to me and they're like, with all the stuff that you can do, you can make way more money. I'm like, I don't want to make way more money. I want to work less. I want to be efficient. I want to be able to go on vacations with my kids. Part of it is like, part of it is like my dad and, most other people's parents from the generation before us worked very hard and worked for a lot.
Many hours a day.
So I barely got to see my dad, and he passed away at 45. So for me, I look at it like, if I have to choose between doing a lunch and learn where I can get one extra client, or going on a vacation, or going on a field trip with my daughter, I'm going to go on the field trip with my daughter.
100%.
So it's not always about money, right?
No.
It's about lifestyle as well.
And family.
Family
to me comes before everybody, before everything in life. And I treat my clients like family. I don't, I'm a big believer of that.
Yeah, they don't, for me, treating people the way that they did, the right way, is, you cannot replace that.
No.
Because that's one of the reasons why 99% of my clients like working with me, and they send other referrals, family, friends over to me because I take care of them. They know that I go out of my way for them, and I'll do everything that I can to help them out. So, and same for you as well. And that's what you need. Look for somebody that's looking out for you, not just trying to charge you, do the bare minimum, and then say goodbye.
Yes, quality over quantity
Yes.
for sure.
Yes. So, yeah. You guys have any vacations coming up?
My best friend's getting married in Santa Barbara in July.
Okay.
So can't wait for that. But that's the only thing we have so far.
Okay.
Hopefully another
It's
one.
hard. It's hard
Randy,
to.
the worst.
It's hard to go with kids.
It is.
So when you have a kid,
it's so hard. It changes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we got a lot of travel during the first 5 years of our marriage.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. See, there you go. Yeah. It's hard. Like we go with the kids. We're gonna go on another vacation with the kids. It's fun.
It's not a vacation, Joe.
Yes,
it's
I
a
know.
trip.
I know.
It's a
well, did you see my post on Facebook?
I think
yes. Okay. So that's it. I'm gonna leave it at that. You're taking care of your kids in another city.
That's it.
Yes.
Oh.
So it's fun, but it's not the same.
No.
Yes. So okay. Do you have anything else you would like to share with anybody? You want to share your contact information?
Yes, please contact us at michiganexpungementcenter.com.
Awesome. And this concludes the episode of Joe Knows. Thank you, Carly, for joining me. And for everyone out there, if you need estate planning done, I can do that for you. You can contact me at 248-914-8146, or you can email me at joe@dalloestateplanning.com. And Joe knows, so you don't have to.